A test match that is well and truly alive. If you thought it's India's game from here on, think again. England have just run away to 107 in this in their pursuit of 378, and that keeps India very, well, you could say, a little nervous. So they'll be happy with the wicket of Zach Crawley, and we will find out why. We have seen perhaps the flattest session of batting on the fourth day in the afternoon session. Ashley Giles and Wasim Jaffer will perhaps explain why on ESPNcricinfo Match Day. Giles, first up. England would be thrilled with that, but what on earth has happened to the surface? It's so good to bat suddenly.
Well, what an incredible session. You know, we said it wouldn't be boring, certainly. And they've come out positively. I mean, a brilliant opening partnership from Lees and Crawley, and India desperately needed that wicket. In terms of the pitch, the only thing I can put it down to is maybe they got the heavy roller on it, and that's still having an effect now. And that will need to wear off before it starts going up and down. But what a session for England.
Is it just that, Wasim, for you? Because this clearly looked like, at least from appearances, the easiest period to bat.
Well, I think, Raunak, when you take that attacking and aggressive approach, sometimes things happen. The demons just go away. The bowlers get onto the defensive, and probably that's the reason why they came out with an aggressive mindset. And I think in future as well, we are going to see more and more of this. And probably the coaches also, will encourage players like that to play in this manner. I mean, when you come out with that approach, suddenly the bowlers go on defensive, the field set is defensive, and everything just goes your way. So it's exciting to watch.
So do you sense then, Wasim, that India were too defensive too early? Did they bowl poorly at the start of this innings?
No, I don't think so. I think Bumrah probably was a little bit, I won't say wayward, but the kind of length that he bowled in the first inning, probably he wasn't there. But when somebody comes out like that and, you get hit for a few boundaries, suddenly you look at the score and you have to go a little bit defensive. And that is why sometimes, you lose that third slip or maybe fourth slip and it comes out to cover and you play and miss and the ball goes from there. So that change of approach actually, force you to have fielders saving boundaries. And that is absolutely the way the modern cricket is being played right now.
Assessment from you, Ashley, on how India almost reacted to England's approach. Did we suddenly see not that level of relentlessness or that level of consistency that we saw in the first innings?
Well, all I would say is today is the first day that India have for almost the whole day looked a little bit rattled and a bit unsure, both with the bat. I expected that when Shami was out, that Jadeja would probably put the foot down a bit more and go a bit harder. But all the way through their innings, they looked like they just stuttered a bit and they were trying to creep towards 400. And then with the ball, Wasim's right. You can only be as good as sometimes people allow you to be. And the two batsmen really came at India. But again, as soon as they got that partnership going, and it happens in fielding teams, they just go into their shell a bit and look a bit unsure. But there's a lot of cricket to be played yet, a lot of time. And as we know, this game could be a funny old game.
I wonder how much, Wasim, you would pay attention to the first period of play after the lunch break, because it looked like the game went nowhere. India were just batting overs out without really ticking on the scoreboard. Is that one element of Ravindra Jadeja's game as a test batter that you'd like to see him work on how he perhaps enforces things on his own with the tail in such situations?
Well, I think so. I think he probably thought he'll take a bit more chance, when it's 8 down or probably 9 down. So he took his time, and that's how he actually played in the first inning as well. He played second fiddle to Rishabh Pant, and probably, he didn't want it to go hard too early, too soon. But we all know he can strike. We have seen him play that brand of cricket in white ball cricket or even in test cricket also. But probably just got that calculation a little bit wrong. If he had batted a little bit more, he would have definitely taken that approach. But you can't, just because he's got out, I think it will be unfair to criticize him.
Okay, interesting. From Jadeja the batter to Jadeja the bowler, he was, funny enough, first change in this innings for India, came on to replace Jasprit Bumrah in the 9th over. Now, Ashley, how did India use Jadeja? He went to left arm over pretty quickly. He had a very defensive feel to Alex Lees. What did you make of it?
Well, he started in an attacking fashion, but what Lees did really well was not let him bowl. And when the ball's quite new and hard, it's not necessarily going to spin and grip a lot. It might get a bit of extra bounce, but I thought Lee's played it really well. So, but very difficult to judge Jadeja on 4 overs. He's an excellent spinner. You know what they need to do, and I think he tried to do by coming over the wicket was create just a little bit of stress and a bit of tension on the batsman by controlling the run rate. They've not really done that so far, but if they can get a couple of wickets and do that, I'd expect to see him back in the game quite quickly.
Wasim, can Jadeja be used as an attacking weapon? Do you want to see him used like that? Looks like India were keen to try a different strategy with Jadeja the bowler.
Yeah, I think so. I think he has got a very important role to play. I think, if he gets 1 wicket and that confidence goes up, definitely the batters are going to come after him. Even Joe Root, we know that, he plays that paddle sweep, reverse sweep, Ben Stokes, they're all going to come out attacking. But if he gets, squeeze in with 1 or 2 wicket, he'll have a role to play. So it's a lot of cricket to be played, but I feel he's got a role to play.
Do you agree with Ashley's point, Wasim, of India perhaps looking a bit rattled? You get the impression with how quickly the defensive fields have come in, the slips have gone out, that India look like they're not being as patient. It almost looks like England have to chase 280 instead of 380.
Raunak, if somebody goes with 5 and over, you'll definitely feel the pressure. There's no doubt about it, because you've got score to defend, and you got to set defensive field, because you're just waiting for 1 wicket to come out, 1 wicket to get, and then that's exactly what happened in the later part of that session. Once Crawley got out, momentum changed suddenly towards India. Ball started to do something. The crowd, got behind Indian bowlers. So as a fielding unit, I feel you sometimes just, hang back and wait for 1 opportunity, and then you can come back into the game. So Indian team is just playing a waiting game, because sometimes when you play in that manner, you know that, 1 opportunity is going to come, just squeeze the runs, and, then you can get back into the game.
Can we go back to the conversation we had yesterday about these Dukes balls, Ashley? And whether that at all is also in play. The minute the ball changed, suddenly something has happened. We'd like to wait for a few more overs to see that. But how much of this is down to India getting an unfriendly ball for the first 20 overs?
Well, it's difficult to tell, isn't it? But certainly when either side has not taken a wicket for a while in this Test match, they're with the umpire all the time, trying to make sure that ball doesn't go through the hoop. But look, it's worked again. It was a misjudgment by Crawley. He will be pretty distraught, given it's his best start for some time. But that man Bumrah again certainly opened the door for India.
Did he take himself out of the game for too long, Wasim? Bowled 4 overs and came back only now for an over before tea?
Well, I think he didn't bowl the first spell really well. And that's probably the reason why he's taken himself off. Siraj got 4 wickets in the first innings, so you can understand why he took him off. But I think he's got a role to play. You can see him bowl an extended spell. When the pitch is behaving like that, he's a very dangerous, bowler to face. So you can expect him to, have a, longer spell in this session.
All right, Ashley, what's the ideal way to handle Zach Crawley? I'm sure he's feeling a bit of pressure now. We've seen what we had to of Crawley. Is he going to get a long rope, given the potential, etc., or would you think England selectors and management would run out of patience with him?
No, look, I think he's fine for now. Ben Stokes has almost said that publicly, and this innings would have helped. 46 under his runs in a positive fashion would have helped, and almost the way England are playing their cricket will help him, because they're just going, just go out there and play, just go at it and keep going at it, and that freedom can be useful rather than trying to scratch around. But clearly, look, he needs a big score at some point soon. Otherwise, he is going to be under pressure.
All right. What can we expect in this session? Ashley Giles, 20 odd overs bowled. Are we expecting the ball to misbehave now? Will this not be as easy to bat final session as the middle session was?
Well, India will be certainly hoping for that, and you would expect if that roller wears off that it might do a little bit more. If it were me, I'd start with the 2 seamers, but then I'd quickly, I'd want Jadeja in the game to try and control one end, and you can rotate your best 3 seamers the other. But that's going to be the key, almost battle or tussle of the game, is how well England played Jadeja in this last session.
I think it's an important break as well, Wasim, for just a conversation with a new captain to perhaps, if Ashley's point is is to be given some credit that they looked a bit rattled. They don't look like they're on top or ahead in the game. What would you want to be telling Jasprit Bumrah right now, the rest of the bowlers right now?
Well, I think, bowling the right lines and then, squeezing those boundaries. Again, pretty similar to, what they did with Johnny Bairstow in the first inning. They'll probably need to do that with Alex Lees, stop the boundaries, let them take singles if at all, and wait for an opportunity. And I think Jasprit Bumrah's captainship will be on the show. I feel, that will be his test, how he operates, how he gets his bowlers to bowl. I think bowling the right lines probably is the key, and having a, in and out field is going to be crucial, because I think still fast bowlers, I feel, are the key, because the pitch you can expect to, misbehave a little bit, one or two odd balls. And then Jadeja, as and when he gets an opportunity, I feel his role is going to be important from one end.
I mean, it's his story is not done, Alex Lees, but it's worth bringing it up now, given England have had one of the more questionable or vulnerable parts of their game come good, actually, in a big chase. The openers give them a 100-plus stand, and this innings from Alex Lees almost looks like it could perhaps solve one of England's long-standing problems, as we've discussed.
Yeah, Alex Lees has been around a long time. I've seen him play a lot, and he often plays best when he plays in that fashion. When he again goes at the ball, he gets into better positions, as batsmen often do. I thought that was a really impressive and mature innings he played today. And he's got England off to a brilliant start. What I'd expect now is England to try and get as many as they can in this session. If the sun's out, wicket's not playing too badly, I'd look for them to try and get as much of this 270 odd that they need now this evening.
Okay, this is such a hard session to predict, so I'm going to ask both of you to predict it, right? Where are we likely to see this test match at Stumps? Are you going to see another 100, 120 runs for not much, and England to be eyeing a historic chase? Or are we going to see a completely different session to what we saw in this afternoon, this middle session? We're going to see heaps of wickets and the ball doing all sorts of things. Wasim, where do you think this game will be at Stumps?
Well, I think if England come out attacking, I feel, it can get away from India a little bit. But if they, take the gear down a little bit and, play a little bit sensibly and try and, consolidate, then India, I think, have got an opportunity. It's very hard to play in that fourth and fifth gear for really long period. And that's when I feel India might come into play. If they just, take that gear down a little bit, India can, come into the game with a couple of wickets. So I would say, if India take 3 wickets in this session, they'll feel they are on the top.
Okay. So you're telling me that your prediction is that India will take 3 wickets in this session?
I just feel that, batting for long periods, still with field out, it's going to be very, very hard. It's not a T20 cricket. Just to go on and batting in that fifth gear for such a long period, it's not that easy.
Ashley?
Well, I'm going to sit on the fence a little bit, but I would say that if India don't get wickets, England could easily score 130 plus this session. But I sense that the way this test has gone, I think we may see India have a better session. We should do. I think they've performed the majority of this test match so far really well. I think we'll if they get a couple of wickets, it's going to be a tough session for England.
Tell you what, they need 270. So let's make day 5 as good as we possibly can. Let's give India a couple of wickets, maybe 3 wickets. Let's give England about 110, 120. That'll set up day 5 beautifully. So we'll pick up the chat with Wasim, Jaffer and Giles, who aren't quite committing to where this game might stand in what could be, I'm saying this again, but an important session or perhaps a decisive session in this test match. The final one on day 4. Join us at Stumps on ESPNcricinfo Matchday, and we will see who is in the ascendancy then.